Go.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Fourcast. As always, we are your hosts. I'm Sam. That would be stupid. I'm Damien Cross, and I'm joined by Sam, the actual Sam.
Damien.
We've been away for I think about 2 months. I think it was just prior to Royal Rumble last time we recorded, so a lot has happened. But what are your thoughts in 2 words about wrestling at the moment?
Complete chaos. In the best possible way.
That is a completely fair assessment. It has been a wild 2024. That's what this episode is going to be about.
On and off the pitch, as they'd say in football.
Yeah, we'll kind of cover what's been happening on TV in the last couple of months and just kind of some of the thoughts about it. A big amount of it is obviously going to be talking about Wrestlemania, as it is right around the corner now. But before we jump feet first into WWE, I want to talk about AEW. It's unlikely for me to bring it up, but they have had a great couple of months, weeks, however, of acquisitions, and they've been on the upturn in terms of their product as well, which is good. But 3 big names coming in: Will Ospreay, Okada, can't remember his first name.
Zuka
Okada, and formerly known as Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné. My slight gripes was her new theme music aside. Really great signs, all 3 of them.
It's better than our other theme music that's shed in Japan.
Did it not still have the saying Moné every 30 seconds in a slightly high pitched way?
A little bit.
That just wound me up slightly. Theme music is an all-time low in wrestling.
That WWE theme was one of my favourites. It's like a guilty pleasure. But yeah, AEW doing insanely well. This year, it sort of got me back into AEW. Last year, it fell off a cliff, I think. It might be a little bit harsh to say, but it didn't feel like AEW. It felt like they were sort of leaning more towards WWE rather than being that alternative that they promised to be. But this year, they've rebranded, kind of. They've got the tunnels back and it's fresh. It looks good. Brandon's cool. They've had these big names come in and it feels exciting again. Maybe I might be able to persuade you to go to it. Who knows?
Maybe. It'll be a little bit easier this year than it seems a bit hectic last year. You weren't even here.
No, I wasn't here last year, to be fair. But yeah, Will Ospreay has been absolutely insane. I've listened to quite a few different podcasts and obviously you watch bits of him, but it's hard to follow New Japan when you're over here. Well, at least I find it hard. You've got so much to watch.
I think you can follow the in-ring stuff, but a lot of the story builds and stuff like that are difficult for language barrier, and those stuff don't get clipped as much outside of WWE. I think WWE do really well at the clippable promos, where you don't seem to see as much of that from other places. I
didn't expect him to come in quite as hot as what he has. He's come in and feels like the number 1 star in all of AEW. One of the biggest stars in wrestling, I'd argue, at the minute. His in-ring work is insane, and his mic work has really surprised me as well.
I mean, I've not really seen too much of his promo stuff, but his story a while back with Kenny Omega, and he was doing it was a clip that someone shared of him in a match outside of AEW where he was hitting Kenny's finisher and then forcing the opponent to kick out of oh look, people can kick out of One-Winged Angel, which is a great bit of storytelling because it didn't finisher because you can lean into storyline, but it was a really good bit of kind of promoting the match in a different match where it was kind of unique. I'd never really seen that before.
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm being uber harsh, I think he's kind of everything Ricochet wants to be. He's got the athleticism and more.
I think Ricochet often struggles with the non-wrestling side of... Not that I say he's bad at it, but it's I feel like he can be overshadowed by... his in-ring stuff is obviously amazing. You can still do stuff, so how is that physically possible? But I think he struggles...
To be fair to him, I think a lot is to do with the booking as well.
Yeah.
So he's never in the best story.
You can only work with what you've got, and if you're doing shit, you're probably going to come across as shit. But
the Mercedes Moné presentation as well, she seems like a complete star. She looks like she comes from a completely different world. Not wrestling. She looks like an A-lister almost. The presentation she's come in. It's kind of well known that she was going after they announced Big Business.
Yeah.
Heavy rumours before. But yeah, she looks awesome and forward to it. And I sincerely hope that it means that Tony Khan starts booking women properly.
Yeah.
And not in the slot just before the main event or breaks up their matches with the ad break and stuff like that. Because that is literally the one criticism that AEW have had for the whole time, and from me, is that they just don't treat the women as...
I mean, it's not a AEW thing. It's just that it's a professional wrestling thing. It's kind of across the... Well, as American professional wrestling, I won't comment on the country's wrestling I haven't watched, but most, both WWE, AEW, have struggled at times. And even WWE at the minute has arguably got the strongest women's roster they've ever had, and they're not getting a lot of areas shut off outside of the...
Yeah, the WWE is not amazing, but they're light years ahead of AEW. Like, you look just this past week on Raw, Becky Lynch and Nia headlining. They actually have stories, progressive stories, rather than just throw off matches, token matches on the show. But we could have a completely whole conversation about that another time. But like I say, I really hope she manages to get some focus on that.
There's been questions raised over the New York Post, I think it was today, it might have been yesterday, about whether WWE needs to take a look at themselves about that they've missed out on these 3 big free agents. Do they have to then take a step back and go, what are we doing wrong? Now, you could say, oh, maybe WWE didn't need these people. They obviously would have wanted them. They all would have strengthened WWE. And Sasha, you can maybe understand not wanting to come back, wanting to continue making a new persona big as it is. I wouldn't want to go back to being Sasha Banks. There's bad history there. But the other two, you feel like WWE may have dropped the ball in not pushing them. Like,
Potentially. I mean, for
the financial impact, there is suggestions that AEW was throwing buckets of cash to get these people.
I don't think
we were unwilling to. But
they may have been unwilling, sorry, but that doesn't mean that they couldn't have.
No.
And I think that kind of leads into my thinking that AEW needed them a lot more than what WWE has a massive roster. They've got massive stars already.
Yeah.
And would a Will Ospreay, Okada fall into hack in a way? I don't know. Okada's incredible. I think it would have been really fun to see him in. But them going to AEW, they've instant card. I don't think that necessarily would have happened at WWE.
Not at the minute, at least. If they had stayed free agents until after WrestleMania, and WrestleMania goes, as we all hope, there's more room at the top of the card then for them to crop up. But when at the minute, in the pre-WrestleMania, probably not. Although the joke online is obviously that in AEW, no one feels special for long, and Tony just drops everyone into the mix. But
depends who you're looking at, because to be fair, if you're basing that on Edge, if you're basing that on Edge, did he feel special in WWE towards the end? I felt he sort of felt out of place in a way.
I think in WWE, if you're a legend, you always feel sort of special.
Kind of. Maybe because you've got that history behind you.
Yeah.
I think
losing his name is what hurt Edge the most.
He's called himself Cope.
Like, that's the one thing I think that he was always going to struggle with, is that he couldn't beat Edge anymore. Now he had to be Adam Copeland.
I think a big part of it is down to himself, because by all reports, he's got quite heavy creative freedom over his thing. Now, he's brought the Rated R Superstar gimmick there, but he's still the gritty Edge that we saw in WWE. And personally, for my tastes, that's the least favourite Edge for me. Serious Edge is the worst Edge. Like, we had Spooky Edge, the Gangrel and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
They call him Brood Edge on a pay-per-view one. Like Brood Edge versus Demon Film, but why you call
if you actually watch the AEW shows, the stuff that he's doing with Christian is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable. They've got a street fight this week.
He's got the
Gets a street fight.
baseball bat with nails in. No,
Yeah.
2x4 with nails in.
Right, yeah. I mean, Edge has always been apart from the Rated R Superstar stuff and stuff prior to that, whereas the comedy Edge. Well, since his return, I've just not been able to get into it.
Was it that it wasn't cringy, or were we just younger?
Wow. I mean, it was...
My sex celebration was pretty cringy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was. But the ultimate opportunist, that bit was awesome. When he was cashing in and stuff.
As you said, we could talk about Edge for hours, probably. Got a lot to go on. Last thing on AEW, just as a brief thing. The glass spots. The Sting's final match. I liked overall the match, but once again, real glass coming up as being a why are you doing it?
Darby Allin.
He's a nutter in both a good and bad way.
Just briefly touching on it, and maybe we have a longer discussion about it. I think there's an argument Darby Allin being the best wrestler in the
that is definitely up for debate. I dislike his attitude of just like literally throwing himself at everything, because like there are so many bad things that have happened. We take safety more cautiously now because of these bad things. But he wanted to go off and climb Mount Everest, which would have been a cool as shit thing to do. And then because he didn't take precautions as much, he broke his foot or something.
Something like that.
Now he can't do it.
No.
You just need to
He's got a decent little style.
cautious for me, but you know, his choice at the end of the day, it just annoys me slightly that I feel like I can't get behind him because I don't agree with how he's doing stuff.
My reasoning, without going too far in it, it's got a different style to every other traditional best wrestler in the world. But when you look at sort of the idea that no one has a bad match against them and they elevate their opponents to their level, to the best match they've ever had, if you class that as one of the reasons for being the best in the world, Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, Kenny Omega, people like that when they're at sort of their peak.
Yeah.
Darby Allin does that.
Yeah. And he was to point out you combined his WWE and AEW.
Did I say
Daniel Bryanson?
What did I say?
You said Daniel Bryanson instead of
just for both codes. Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryanson. It sounds weird saying Daniel Bryan now for me.
Yeah, it's couldn't you
anyway
get the flip back?
We'll leave that for what it is, and you can decide for yourself. But it's just an opinion.
Yeah. We can definitely dive into that at some point. If you'd like to hear us debate that, or you've got your own opinions on it, leave a comment on audio. I think you can do that on Spotify now, or send us a tweet. We'll drop socials at the end.
Let's talk Fed. Let's talk Fed.
What a couple of months. So last time we spoke is pre-Royal Rumble.
Yeah. I guess we have to kind of round up everything post-Royal Rumble. Cody won.
Yeah.
Right decision.
Good match.
Yeah.
Good match.
Let's just talk about the men's main picture first.
Yeah.
I think there's enough there to talk about, to unpack and talk for a while. So Cody won. And this is very much in a nutshell. I'm sure you all know what's going on. The Rock comes out, says he's going to fight Roman and title. Massive backlash. They do a U-turn. Cody's now fighting Roman for the title. Rock's one of the best bad guys I've ever seen in my life, and I love him more than anything. And now we've got night one, tag team match. Roman, Rock, Cody, Seth. Winner essentially decides stipulation for the main event, which is night two, Cody, Roman. Where do we start talking about?
I'll say is this, for me, it's a perfect catastrophe WWE had, because there's a Seth's got his own story obviously going on as well for his title involving Drew, because CM Punk gets injured in the Royal Rumble and changes everything there. I don't really want to touch on it too much, but other things that the Royal Rumble get changed because of outside WWE stuff coming to light. I'm sure people listening are aware. Don't want to go into it here. We'll cover that another time. But you're in the situation where storylines are falling apart. Cody passes his WrestleMania opportunity up in a promo that draws huge backlash, and then it's like your city's been hit by a tsunami and it's dropped off like a huge amount of gold. Like, you've got this disaster that's happening and it's over, and you're like, well, now we're rich. Like he's just dropped the perfect thing that WWE needed on their laps that was almost a complete disaster. It almost was going to ruin WrestleMania.
How many times did this happen to them?
Like,
They almost like sabotage themselves and then manage to land
yeah,
on their feet.
Rock turning heel and cutting some great heel promos. If they are a bit long, like, I love The Rock as a heel, but he just needs to understand that there is a time limit.
The Rock's The Rock, man. If it means I miss Legado del Fantasma's entrance, screw him. I don't care.
It's
The
not
Rock's
even
The
that.
Rock.
Right, so obviously he slapped Cody at the press conference. Cody's got a slap back like 2 weeks ago, week ago, whenever it was now. We always missed that. That always got cut because they couldn't run over. And that they literally went to the last second for that slap because The Rock is just dragging things out.
The best thing that he's doing is like the 20-minute Instagram video.
Yeah, so I've not been watching fully though. I need to start.
They're so good. They are so good. He's just levels above everyone.
And he's bringing people up as well.
Absolutely.
Like, Cody's promo on Raw this week was brilliant. Like, it made like Cody feel really, no, we need Roman to bring it us back, because now Roman's the one that's fallen behind. Like, Seth is the odd man out in this story anyway, so it doesn't really matter. He's supposed to be focusing on
He's the
Drew.
B+ player. I've always said it.
Like,
fine.
he's supposed to be focusing on Drew. The fact that he feels less important in this, he's kind of what's supposed to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, this tag match. I mean, I feel sorry for the women's match between Bayley and Io, because that's obviously been bumped from being a main event now. Or supposedly,
I'm not sure.
it was supposed to be the Royal Rumble winner.
Yeah, I suppose.
But
I think last year though.
no, we didn't, and it's a shame that it's happened again. We'll talk about that in a.
It doesn't necessarily affect.
No, it does. But WrestleMania main event, it's like a reward sort of thing.
Do you want to hear my prediction? And I'll stick.
Okay.
Rock pins Cody.
Night one.
Cody beats Roman. Rock Cody SummerSlam. That's what I think is going to happen.
I have a similar thing. I think we're going to get shenanigans with in night one. We're going to get shenanigans, and you can either have that ends it up being a one-on-one, no interference allowed, whatever, or continue the shenanigans into night two. I'm all for it at this point. Like, I want the chaos at this point, but I have a sneaking suspicion that to get the original plan back, Rocky's turning on Roman.
Yeah.
And I've seen two ways of I don't know where this is, but someone has shown a clip off the new WWE game that you can do a double people's elbow. Right, it's a double finisher in the movie. You do a double people's elbow and you run off each rope. And for some reason, I can see there being a situation where one person's turning on the other, and like Roman spears Rock from it. Like, I can see that happening in that animation.
That's sincerely.
Like, I can see, like, because people have been pointing stuff out with the Rock, like he's not acknowledging Roman right and like taking control. Like he has actually acknowledged him as well as every sports team in the UK apparently.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a fallout between those two because that was obviously the original big match. Gonna want to get back to that later. Either SummerSlam or the second Saudi show will probably be where that match happens. And I feel like having that be what happens. So I think the right way is they win night one and Rock. So when they have the Bloodline interfered to stop Cody, Rock costs Roman or attacks Roman. Maybe he doesn't come straight into play, but you get that double turn.
I agree with you in the sense that I think it will be Rock Roman next year, but I think you can do it in a way that it's not a hard turn in that sense. I think you can have Roman losing on the Sunday clean.
I don't think it will be clean.
I think it can be clean, and then in the coming months up to SummerSlam, you have The Rock and Roman falling out, and Rock go, well, I've been clean. I can get the job done. And then the Roman turns on The Rock.
Yeah.
SummerSlam, costs him the title. Roman's heel. Rock's face.
Could have a similar. I think instead of it being clean, I think what's more likely is a similar match structure to last year of opening match, shenanigans, and then you get a chunk more match. So all of like the bloodline interference stuff happens in the middle, but it's not the end of the match, and then they go again for another 5-10 minutes. This year you don't have Tyler coming back out.
So you mean you can have the shenanigans if it's Bloodline Rules, you can have the shenanigans at the beginning, but I think it's really important you have to have Cody pinning The Rock clean and not by cheat.
I think the last section of the match
Pinning Roman.
I think the last section of the match would be clean. I don't think like it would be like rock bottom Roman and then I don't think it's going to play into the finish, but I think there's going to be shenanigans build of the story of the match.
I know I said it last year, but if Roman wins, I think I'm done. I genuinely think I'm done. I think you might be done as well.
I mean, I was predicting Roman to win last year. I was right.
It can't happen. It can't. It just can't. Anyway,
Sure it can't.
Let's move on to the rest of the card.
Well, what we're talking about predictions. Actually, no, we'll come back to that. Rest of the card, we've got a lot of big matches on. Big 10-man tag team ladder match.
No, there's 4 more matches to be announced.
Should be awesome. I mean, there was 2 nights of
That's true.
matches. Rhea versus Becky.
Yeah, just touching on that ladder match, I really miss, like, some people hate them, the multi-man matches, but I remember, I think it might have been WrestleMania 30. I remember it being open air. It must have been 6-7 man match for the IC title. Was that Ryder one?
Well, last year they had the tag team showcase match.
Yeah.
So that was one of the sleeper hits.
I love ladder matches.
Ladder match should be great.
And some of these teams that are going to be in the tag team match, there's going to be some fun in there. That's for sure. But yeah, Rhea up against Becky Lynch. The match we've been wanting for quite a while.
Should be hell of a match. They both bring that A game.
Yeah. The biggest star at the minute against the biggest star potentially.
There's reasonable shout for that moniker for.
I like how the story's built so far.
Man versus the man.
They've not particularly clashed face to face.
There's a lot of that at the minute of stories kind of like circling each other. Like there's a 4 women story kind of going on. Becky, Rhea being obviously the end game, but they're both kind of storylining with like Liv Morgan and with
I really like
Jax.
The stories aren't getting stale.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't feel like, oh come on, edge it out to WrestleMania like it did, if you remember, with Sasha and Bianca a few years.
Yeah, they weren't really doing anything because they were just waiting to get their hands on each other.
I think now with 3 weeks to go, Becky's obviously beaten Nia. I think this is now where the story's going to get properly heated, and with the other ones that you've just said. The other women's match we've got is obviously Bayley against Io.
Yeah, which I'm really enjoying the builds at this. The reveal of Bayley being able to speak Japanese, that we all knew she was going to pick Io. It just made the most sense, but how they revealed it I thought was really cool. And then they've gone with Dakota Kai, whose side she's going to be on, and now Bayley's kind of on her own because all the people that would be her allies are still unsure on her because of her heel antics in the past, which I both like and dislike. WWE doing this, like, people don't forget. Like, sometimes they're going to need to forget. Don't lean on this too much. You're doing it. 2 stories going, but yeah, as long as they don't do it every time there's a face turn heel dynamic, fine. But really working in this
I think this might be a match we're sleeping on as well for being one that really steals the show. Io is awesome. Bailey, when she's on form, is awesome. Just as a side note, have they announced anything for the women's tag belt?
They haven't, and there is rumours that Asuka got hurt. So I don't know any details on that, but I saw something posted today that she might have got hurt.
I've got before you obviously said that, I just got a sneaky thought that is Naomi going to be involved in a tag match, actually with Jade Cargill, and that's how they.
Jade on the card, yeah.
Yeah.
No Bianca on the card yet.
Right. Which is quite weird.
So there's a lot of big names that haven't quite made the card yet, but
Bianca Belair has become like a WrestleMania sort of standout performer.
It's not unlike WWE to surprise you on the week before WrestleMania by announcing a match that you just go, oh yeah, of course, I totally make it.
Jade against Bianca is the one saying, and I think that would be cool. Just as a visual image, that's awesome. That's two going up against. That would be cool. What other matches got announced?
Gunther versus Sami Zayn.
Yeah, bit of a weird one.
A little bit surprising. Hoping he doesn't become a triple threat just because it did last year, but obviously they're building in with the Chad Gable story into that gauntlet match was great.
Yes. I like the story that they're telling on Raw this week where Chad, have you seen Raw this week?
Yes.
Chad goes to Sammy. I don't think we're sort of brought that into Gunther. If they did turn it into a triple threat with Chad in there as well, I don't know how they'd do it. I wouldn't be totally against it.
Yeah, not totally against it, but I want the singles match.
I'm not sure I want Sami Zayn to beat Gunther and end his streak, personally. If that was Chad Gable, I'd say, yeah, 100% I want him to win. Sammy, I love Sammy, and you think about what he did at WrestleMania last year, main event in night one with Kevin Owens, beating the Usos, getting that historic title reign gone. For him to repeat that against Gunther on his own, that would be a cool story. But it just seems like it's come out of nowhere.
There's a little
But Sami Zayn's sort of been spinning wheels, not really doing anything. He's lost some heat.
What else? Also got United States title. That confirmed as a triple threat?
Yeah, it was confirmed on
Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, and Logan Paul. I say Jake Paul. No, Logan Paul.
Jake Paul will make an appearance.
Really, I hate how much I've enjoyed Logan Paul WWE brand.
You've got to embrace him. I love he's fantastic.
He is, and that's what I mean. I just I don't hate his run. I just hate how much I'm enjoying it. Like
I like him. I respect him massively.
I mean,
what he's done, but I don't think he's
way better than he has any right to be at professional wrestling. But
same as absolutely
really entertaining. The introduction of Randy Orton almost before there's some big RKO moment at WrestleMania. The interesting one this week, really like the idea. Execution wasn't great.
Yeah.
The stunner into an RKO. What they were going for, awesome. It didn't quite line up right, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
Got his footing wrong, so it can spring straight away. I've seen an edit of it though, so that someone's done online where they sort of cut the little bit out, the little stall in.
Yeah.
It's a match that I don't know with it. So hard.
It could go any direction on that. It's with the most open, at least giving a brief thought.
I always find it really jarring when Randy for the mid-card title, as he's sort of the WWE top guy, fatigue person.
Yeah.
Whenever he's competing for a title, it's always the main title. And not that I actually like that. I find it quite boring after a while. But it always seems weird that he's fighting for the mid-card title and you can't sort of envisage him winning it.
He's just always kind of hovering around the event, despite...
He's like the WWE main guy prototype.
Yeah. Where other people like John Cena can go off and do US title stuff, and you're like, yeah, it makes sense. And but Randy Orton not with like a world title.
It's weird. It is weird. It's jarring. So I think that's all the matches that have been announced so far.
There's others I can't think of them off the top of my head. Obviously, when we get right up to WrestleMania and do our predictions, we'll cover any additional one. made there. But I think that's most of what's been happening.
There's one more story, little side story,
Sorry, story.
and that's the Prime sponsorship of the
Prime,
the ring and pay-per-views. Thoughts on that?
I feel like it was inevitable that there was going to be both a Prime sponsorship of WWE and inevitable that we were going to get ring sponsorships. I don't like how they've done the rings. I'm not opposed to the idea, but how they've implemented it looks stupid. Like, what you would do, you want to do like it's obviously taking the UFC down, but you need to embrace that fully because otherwise it looks stupid. Like when WWE do this match is sponsored by Slim Jim and everything's yellow and it's like it looks silly because it's just one big sponsorship. You've got like 10 and like each corner of the ring is sponsored by a different brand and like it's both more obnoxious but looks like it belongs more. Like
I think that what they could have done is something similar to what AEW do. They have DraftKings. They kind of have it across the angle of the corner of the ring on each one. Now, if you had a little Prime on each of those, I think it'll be fine. But that massive bottle in the middle is just
It depends how they go for, because I don't know if there's been an actual press release about. The only information I had a brief look when it was announced. The only thing I could find was Logan Paul's announcement.
Yeah,
which means could just be story.
It could be,
and you could have a situation where I don't know if they've announced like night one that match opens and ends with that Prime logo getting like removed.
Yeah,
like that could be a thing that happens. In which case we've all been played into hating this, but as it stands at the minute, how they've shown it, it's really stupid. But yeah, it feels like it was a bit of an inevitability.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah,
agreed. We'll have to see what happens and how that one.
Just to wrap up this episode or the podcasting, WrestleMania season makes people do some strange things. Our friend Aiden has decided that he's going to try and stay awake for like 30 hours. He's going to try and stay awake all night and go to work the next day so he can watch WrestleMania Night 2.
Just calling it ill.
That is quite a challenge, especially as we're now, you and him are approaching 30. I am 30. It's not easy anymore. We struggled to do this at 18.
I haven't done that in 17 years, stay up the whole show.
But it's also made you make a potentially stupid decision, and we can announce officially our WrestleMania punishment idea for the predictions.
Yeah, so as you'll know if you've been listening, I lost the predictions last year, and as a result, I had to get a fake tan, of which I haven't actually done yet, because I'm going to do it before we go on one of our friends' stag do's, Benidorm. Now, I've made a deal with Damien
and Aiden,
a double or nothing, if you will. Excuse the AEW pun. Now, if I win, Damien and Aiden have to also get a fake tan with me. Now, if Damien wins, I still have to get my fake tan, but I also have to dye my hair blonde, which is quite different to what I am now. I've got if you've not seen a picture of me, probably most of you haven't, I've got very dark brown hair, so I'll go for the full Ken look in Benidorm.
I think it would suit you. Fake tan maybe not, but I think being blonde would.
I think the fake tan more so than bloody blonde hair will suit.
Well,
anyway,
hopefully can make that come true. I mean, it really depends. I guess our audience are going to want Aiden to win WrestleMania, because then both of us have to get fake tans and you have to get blonde. Well, that is the biggest success for an audience of ours.
Aiden should have negotiated. If he won, you get blonde hair as well.
I don't think my hair would survive a dye job.
You have to dye your beard blonde.
Oh god. I mean, that you could, if you look super, I could just shave off though. Like,
if you have to get a fake tan and you kept your beard, you're just gonna have to keep it for years.
No, I think it doesn't last that long.
Well, for a while,
Yeah.
at least.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I have no plans to shave the beard at the minute, so...
No. Yeah, anyway, that's the update for the punishments.
Well,
so what...
follow up with the end of 2024 punishment when we actually come up with something. But we'll see how this one goes. We've got to figure out where we're getting fake tan.
Need to do some research.
Because we've only got a couple of weeks between WrestleMania and going away, so stay tuned after WrestleMania for that. There will be updates, a vlog type thing, I'm sure, and some photos on socials for that. But I think that's everything for now.
I think so.
So thank you for listening, and here comes the socials. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to keep up to date with all things Figure Forecast, you can follow us on Twitter or X at Figure4UK, on Threads and Instagram at The Figure Forecast, and on Facebook by searching The Figure Forecast.